Search is on this morning for a gunman after a deadly shooting in Detroit. This happening early yesterday morning on West McNichols. Police pronouncing the man dead at the scene. A suspect seen driving away in a light-colored sedan. Police believe this was a targeted attack. They're asking anyone with information to please come forward.
And more than 3 years after a deadly hit-and-run killed a father in Detroit, family members are still searching for justice. Now Crime Stoppers hopes a $2,500 reward will help. Back in March of 2020, Stephen Radcliffe was struck and killed in the street near DeQuinder and East Robinwood. The driver in a white Ford Escape never stopped. Today, Crime Stoppers will announce a $2,500 reward for information leading to an arrest. Radcliffe left behind a daughter who wasn't even a year old at the time. Call 1-800-SPEAK-UP if you have any information. You will remain anonymous.
And state police pulling over a drifting driver, catching quite a haul. Troopers stopping the 24-year-old man on M53 in Washington Township. Inside his car, they found a short-barreled rifle belonging to the passenger, an 18-year-old man from Lapeer. There were also 12 double-edged daggers and 2 sets of brass knuckles in the vehicle. The driver was arrested for several outstanding warrants. He's been turned over to police in Imlay City. The passenger was sent to the Macomb County Jail. And a St. Clair County man is still in the hospital after he was struck by lightning.
This is a very strange occurrence here. So this happened yesterday afternoon. On Capac Road in Lynn Township, the lightning hit as 2 men picked up firewood during a thunderstorm. The other was hurt pretty badly. You see the map of where it happened right there. Now, here's a story that has had people talking all over the country since it happened this weekend. While on stage in Detroit, singer Monica saw something in the crowd she did not like, so she jumped into action, literally. I want you to take a look at this. Monica, she's on stage right there, but it's during her set in Hart Plaza. She says she saw a man hitting a woman. She called that man out. And while on stage, she then jumped off into the crowd to personally confront him. After a verbal tongue lashing, she got back on stage, apologized for the delay, saying what she says triggered her. She says she saw the man punch the woman and with all his strength, and that she is praying that the victim is okay. The fight seems to have been about spacing at the crowd during the concert. And as you know, Hart Plaza is standing room only. Monica was among the performers at the Riverfront Music Festival.
And a little birdie telling us that Twitter is changing its logo. Elon Musk saying he's planning to drop the bird and possibly replace it with an X. Fox's Christina Coleman tells us what's next for X.
We could be saying bye-bye birdie as soon as Monday. In a series of late-night tweets, Elon Musk says he's ready for yet another change at the social media company, tweeting, "And soon we shall bid adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds." And here's one possible look Musk wants to use, sending out this flashing neon X logo. Reaction so far seems mixed. X Corp is what Musk renamed Twitter earlier this year after buying the social media platform for $44 billion last year. He says he wants to create a super app like WeChat in China. He's also polling people about changing the default color on Twitter from blue to black, and about 75% so far are saying yes. It would be one of the many changes since Musk took over Twitter, including laying off 3/4 of its workforce to cut costs, naming a new CEO, and adding an $8 a month subscription service. This, of course, comes as Musk is competing with Mark Zuckerberg and Meta's new app Threads, a text-based version of Instagram. 100 million people signed up for that in the first 5 days of its launch. And on its website, Twitter says the Bluebird logo is its most recognizable asset, and that's why they're so protective of it. So we shall see if this iconic bluebird does fly away. Reporting in Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
This morning, it is a race against time to either save or delay the demolition of an old vacant building located on Cass Avenue.
The building is set to be torn down possibly today. It was once part of Detroit's historic Chinatown. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch reporting from Detroit with the latest on the efforts to save this structure. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Amy and Brandon. Yeah, Detroit City Councilwoman is leading the effort. She is meeting with representatives from Olympia Development later on today to try and save this historic building right behind me. And she is not the only one who is passionate about this. We've talked to a couple people on and off camera who say it would be a huge loss if it were leveled.
this is the kind of thing that, that I spent my career working for.
To some, this prominent property not far from the corner of Cass and Peterborough and to the north of what's now considered the District Detroit area of the city is an eyesore, a dangerous and dilapidated building that needs to come down. To others, though, it's a more than century-old piece of history, a relic that has certainly seen better days and is worthy of seeing them again. Mike Betcher is an urban planner.
That would be really sad if that happened. It's a great asset. It's completely rehabable as it is. You can see through the windows that there are I-beams that are still holding up the walls, and that's critical.
Detroit City Councilwoman Gabriela Santiago Romero is among those who are now fighting to keep the building at 3143 Cass Avenue standing. Olympia Development of Michigan, which is connected to the Ilitch organization, bought it in 2004 for $50,000. Now, due to a partially collapsed roof, it's slated for demolition as soon as today.
This is such an important anchor in the neighborhood, and to see it revitalized, I think, would be such a feather in the cap of Olympia. All these promises that they've made so far, if they can successfully rehab that building like so many people have done in the neighborhood already, then maybe that could really sort of change the perception of them as a company and the Ilitch family altogether.
The property, which sits at what was once known as Chinatown, dates back to the late 1800s and at one point housed the former Shanghai Cafe. It's a two-story brick building that some say shouldn't be removed but instead renovated or sold to someone who will. It's in a promising area just feet away from new businesses and blocks away from Little Caesars Arena and Comerica Park.
This was the heart of Chinatown, this building right here for decades, and it would be, an incredible loss if it actually came down. I don't think it needs to, though.
Now, I did reach out to Olympia Development for some kind of a statement on this, but I have not received one as of yet. So, of course, let you know what they have to say about the situation, and we'll let you know how that meeting goes today. For now, we are reporting live from Detroit. I'm Robin Murdoch for Fox 2 News.
Robin, did that urban planner or anyone else you've talked to have some ideas about what they would like to see go into that building?
Yeah, that urban planner that I did talk to, he did mention that it's just a perfect building for mixed use. You could have apartments in there, you could have offices in there, you could have stores, just because the front of it has a very level storefront, eye front, so it'd be really easy for people walking by to be able to look inside and to see what you have to offer. So he really says that, the possibilities are endless with this building, but it really does need to be saved. It does need to be renovated because it is just such a historic piece, a historic fixture around this area that deserves to stick around. Back to you, Amy.
Yeah, it certainly would be great to see that come back to life. Thanks so much, as always, Robin Murdoch. We appreciate you. Brandon.
Well, the ferry that carries passengers and vehicles between Michigan and Wisconsin is currently out of commission. The SS Badger has suspended operations because of a mechanical failure within its ramping system. Now, we're told that repairs are underway, and it is not clear when the service across Lake Michigan might resume. The Badger runs between Ludington and Wisconsin and has the capacity to carry up to 600 passengers and 180 vehicles, including RVs, buses, and commercial trucks. The trip usually takes about 4 hours.
Well, a little bit of relief for drivers across Michigan. According to AAA, the statewide average price for gas has gone down about 7 cents since last week. Well, right now, drivers are paying around $3.49 per gallon. That is about $1 cheaper than this time last year. The lowest prices in the state can be found in Grand Rapids and Benton Harbor, while drivers right here in Metro Detroit and Ann Arbor are paying some of the highest prices.